Today, I'll be doing Beyblade physics on Soul Balkesh from the Pro Series. And for sample bays, I have Viper Balkesh 6 Eternal S and Diomedes D2 1 Universe Speedstorm Metal. First, I'll be going over the parts of Soul Balkesh. For the performance tip, it uses Eternal, and here it is compared with Eternal S. Not that much of a difference, but it uses like it's your standard sharp stamina tip, but the surface area of it is smaller on the Pro Series version. Also, this free spinning ring around it is made of some special super smooth POM plastic, whereas on this one the free spinning bit is just normal plastic, making it basically a revolve slingshot. And because it's a slingshot tip, it also has a slingshot mode. Doesn't really hold that well, but it still has a slingshot mode. My favorite part of Soul Balkesh that I've been looking forward to is the Paradox disc. I should take apart the layer because I need a part from that for demonstration. So Paradox actually has two parts to it. It has the core of the disc is actually completely made of plastic, making it possible to make a completely plastic burst Beyblade, which isn't at all competitive, but it's at least interesting. And then it has this outer ring of both plastic and metal that you can, as you saw earlier, it was in this orientation, but you can also flip it so it goes like that. And a trick to line up these two together, because sometimes it won't go in, is that so there's these two nubs here, and this one here has an arrow on it, and you want to line up that arrow with the arrow right here, and then it slides in easily. And same on this side, there's a little arrow right there. Can be a bit difficult to see, but just line it up with that arrow and it goes in. And the reason it only works in that orientation and not like that, the reason it won't go in there, is because this has like those 5 nubs that line up with the 5 gaps on here. And this one here with the arrow is a little bit wider than the other 4. So then this one has to be a little bit bigger than the other 4. And though it does fit around the other 4, it's the only one that fits around this one. So it's the only way it will go in. Hope you followed that. And in this orientation, the upper orientation, it actually only works with the naked layer base. I mean, Soul layer base. It was called Naked in Japan, so I keep mixing it up. It has these nubs here that go outside of these parts here, so that it still fits together fine. But on any other layer, they get in the way and it won't fit on right. So in its upper mode, it's only tournament legal with the Soul layer base. So with all other Beyblades, you'd only be using it in this orientation. And now onto the Soul layer base, and as I accidentally mentioned earlier, in Japan it was called Naked. It has these also 5 blades, just like Paradox. And it's like got this high wall for some good defense and stuff, I guess. Putting Paradox back together. So Paradox has a very similar design to the Soul layer base too. And like, as I said, it's the only way you can put it on in this upper orientation. And you can actually line it up with all the other 5 blades. Something I'm forgetting. Oh yeah. So with this upper mode, it adds like an extra layer of defense to the Soul layer base. And like when you hit that, it should theoretically basically maybe go backwards a little bit if you hit it hard enough. So yeah, good defense thing for the soul layer base. For the layer weight, it uses 10, concentrates the weights there. When I put it on the soul layer base, you can see it puts the weights here and here. And the Balkesh chip, Balkesh GT chip. Here's it compared with the Balkesh Gamma chip, I guess. As you can, besides the color difference, the only real main difference is they don't have the coloration on these bottom mandibles, I guess. Also, the Gamma chip has a lot more texture to it, which I kind of like because it makes it a lot easier to make out the shape of it all. And of course, this one has slopes, and this one has teeth, and the QR code thing for desk Balkesh. And the teeth on this Balkesh are kind of interesting because I noticed on this side there are only 3 teeth, whereas on this side there's 4, so that's kind of interesting. But when I put this Beyblade together, I was kind of taken aback by how loose the locking mechanism was. And I think it might be the Balkesh teeth after testing it with and without the Spryzen GT chips. So I've deduced that the Eternal Performance tip does have a fine spring. It's just the Balkesh teeth. It's still a pretty good bay though. And now we'll get on to the sample battles. Putting the bays back together. I'm going to battle these two first. I'm going to go through all the modes, so I'm just going to be doing one battle for, like, 2 battles against each of the sample bays, 1 in each of the modes. Now these bays are both left rotation. As you can see, even though it has not too good teeth, with the Eternal Tip and that Paradox for some extra defense, it does actually do okay. Now for the Diomedes. Right spin, so the opposite spin. That one was pretty close, but I think I'm going to give that one to Soul Balkesh. Now I'm going to switch modes. But the trouble is, when you flip it like this, all these blades that were going up onto the layer are now facing down. So that does cause some scrapage. And with the direction left spin, it goes like this. I feel like it would be better in right spin, though, because it would be going like that, kind of pushing it back up. So it might be a bit better with right spin bays, but yeah. Soul Balkesh. Yeah, I think I'm going to call that one a tie, because I'm not really sure. And yeah, as you can see, Oh, got a few clicks there. So now that it's down, it's not giving that extra protection that it did before either. So on top of causing scrapage, it's not protecting the layer. But yeah, Eternal still has some pretty good stamina. So Eternal, good. Paradox, kind of good. Mostly the Balkesh chip that has those bad teeth. Now one more against Viper, Balkesh. And wins. Oh, it got really close to bursting though. Just like one more click and it would have bursted. I think that's all for now though. And thanks for watching.